How's it hanging, Rasmanites? So now it is time for me to give you all my review for Iron Man 2 today on the Rasman's Reality. Alright, so since Iron Man 2 is a brand new release in the cinema, I do not wish to give away spoilers for any of you that haven't been lucky enough to see it. So, rather than give away spoilers, I'm going to give you the most bare-bones summary of the plot that I possibly can, give absolutely nothing away. And then in this review, I'm going to do it in the same style that my cousin Chris and I did for Sherlock Holmes when that was released in the cinema in December of 2009. Meaning that I'm going to dissect the acting, the cinematography, and the direction. So your basic bare bones plot summary for Iron Man 2 is as follows. Tony Stark is met with two nemesis as Iron Man in this film. Whiplash, played by Mickey Rourke, and Justin Hammer, played by Sam Rockwell. And he is charged with dealing with both at the same time and bringing them both to justice. And that is all that I can say about it without giving away the best elements of this film. So needless to say, come Blu-ray time, Iron Man 2 will be revisited because it is worth delving into, because I think it's a great story. I'm going to first talk about the acting, and I'm going to do it in the order that the actresses and actors appeared on screen. First person you see on screen from the principal cast is Mickey Rourke as Whiplash, and Rourke is just absolutely freaking brilliant in this role. It's his best role that I've seen him in since The Wrestler. Of course, it is his first major role, as far as I'm aware of, since The Wrestler. But The Wrestler was an absolutely phenomenal film. It took Mickey Rourke back to prominence. And for those of you that are wondering, well, if The Wrestler's so great, Raz, why haven't you reviewed it? Basically, because as sad as it is, I fell behind on my pickups. I don't own The Wrestler yet. But as soon as I do, I will check out that Blu-ray and review that film, because it is definitely worth discussing, especially since I am a wrestling fan as well as a film fan. But anyway, Mickey Rourke takes what he established in The Wrestler and brings it in to Iron Man 2. He is absolutely phenomenally brilliant as Whiplash. He has all the elements to that character that I could have ever wanted to see as a fan of the comics. The only negative thing I have to say about it, and this is nothing against him, it's just the writing of the film, Justin Hammer was focused on a little bit more than him. I wanted to see Whiplash get more screen time because of how brilliant Mickey Rourke was. The next two people you see on screen are, of course, Robert Downey Jr. as Tony Stark / Iron Man, and Gwyneth Paltrow as Pepper Potts. We'll start, of course, with Robert Downey Jr. Robert Downey Jr., I said it during the review of the first Iron Man, I think this guy is an absolute cinematic god. I think he has the Midas touch. Everything he does turns into gold. He, in my opinion, can make any film and any script look absolutely fantastic. I mean, it could literally be a pile of crap, and Robert Downey Jr. could make the film. That's how high I am of him. And I would say, with Michael J. Fox being forced into retirement, that Robert Downey Jr., if I was forced to pick, by far is my favorite living actor today. Followed closely by two other guys that are in this film. One we just talked about, Mickey Rourke, and the other we will talk about, and Sam Rockwell as Justin Hammer in Iron Man 2. But yeah, Robert Downey Jr. just took all the elements from the first film and his brilliant betrayal of Tony Stark and just notched it up to another level, if you ask me. Just completely engrossed himself in the character even more and was just so entertaining. He was serious, he was funny, he did everything right. So Robert Downey Jr., absolute 5-star thumbs up. Gwyneth Paltrow as Pepper Potts, again, all the elements that she brought from the first one into the character once again returned in this one, and she actually had a lot more to do in this film from a character standpoint than she did in the first one, and she just delivered. I've honestly never seen Gwyneth Paltrow look this good as she did in Iron Man 2. I absolutely loved her in this film. Next up, you have director Jon Favreau himself as Happy the Bodyguard. He has a little bit more to do in this film. Not too much, but his character is expanded a little bit, and I thought he was absolutely hilarious. You know, some people want to take a shot at Jon Favreau for putting himself in the films that he does, but he is absolutely the perfect Happy. If he wasn't directing these films, I think Marvel would have sought him out to play Happy, because if you ever see illustrations of that character in the comic, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. He's absolutely perfect, and I loved him in this film. I thought he was a great compliment to Robert Downey Jr.'s humor. Next up, Sam Rockwell as Justin Hammer. Absolutely freaking brilliant. This guy is another one of those guys with the Midas touch. Just turns everything he does into gold. Perfect Justin Hammer. Just the right amount of, am I a good guy, am I a bad guy, mystery element that's required for that character, but that's all I'm going to say about it, because I don't want to give away, again, the plot line of this film. But Sam Rockwell was absolutely brilliant, knew just what to do and just the right buttons to push. Absolutely fantastic work from Sam Rockwell as Justin Hammer.